Welcome to Sarah English, where you can improve your English naturally by listening to simple, interesting, and inspiring stories. Today, I have a story for you that will teach you more than just English.
It will teach you something about life.
Imagine failing again and again while everyone around you tells you to stop. Would you give up? This is the story of a boy who refused to give up. His name was Daniel. Daniel was 15 years old, and he had one big dream. He wanted to become a great runner. Every morning, before the sun came up, Daniel woke up, put on his old running shoes, and went to the small field behind his house. He ran every day. He ran when it was sunny. He ran when it was cold. Sometimes he even ran in the rain. But Daniel had a problem. He was not a fast runner. In fact, he was one of the slowest runners in his school. Every time there was a race, Daniel finished last. The other boys laughed at him. "Why do you keep running?" one boy asked. "You will never win," another boy said. Daniel heard their words, but he did not answer. He simply smiled and continued running. One day, his teacher announced a big school race. The winner would receive a beautiful gold medal. Daniel wanted that medal more than anything, so he trained harder than ever. He woke up earlier. He ran longer. He practiced every single day. Finally, the day of the race arrived. Hundreds of students gathered around the school field. Daniel stood at the starting line. His heart was beating very fast.
Bang!
The race began. All the runners moved forward quickly. Daniel ran as fast as he could. But after a few seconds, he was already behind everyone else. The other runners became smaller and smaller in front of him. Daniel was tired. His legs hurt. His breathing became difficult. For a moment, he thought about stopping. Then he heard his father's voice in his mind. His father had once told him, "Daniel, winning is not always about being first. Sometimes, winning means refusing to stop." Daniel remembered those words. So he kept running. One step, then another, and another. When he finally crossed the finish line, everyone else had already finished. Daniel came last. Again, some students laughed. Daniel looked at the gold medal in the winner's hands. He felt disappointed. He wanted to cry. That evening, Daniel sat quietly outside his house. His father came and sat beside him. "You worked very hard," his father said. "But I lost," Daniel replied. His father smiled. "No, Daniel. You finished the race." Daniel looked at him. "What do you mean?" "Many people stop when things become difficult. You were tired, you were behind everyone, and you knew you would not win. But you continued." Daniel did not say anything. His father continued. "Success does not always come quickly. Sometimes you have to try many times before you succeed." Those words stayed in Daniel's heart. The next morning, Daniel went running again. Nothing had changed. He was still slow. But something inside him had changed. He no longer ran only to win. He ran to become better. Months passed. Daniel became stronger. His running became faster. His confidence grew. Then, 1 year later, another school race was announced. Daniel stood at the starting line again. Some students remembered him. "That is the boy who always finishes last," they whispered. Daniel heard them. But this time he smiled.
Bang!
The race began. Daniel ran. He ran faster than he had ever run before. One runner passed him. Then Daniel passed another. He could hear the crowd cheering. His heart was beating quickly. His legs were tired. But he remembered all the mornings when he had trained alone. He remembered the cold days.
He remembered the rain.
He remembered every failure. And he kept going. As Daniel reached the final part of the race, he saw two runners ahead of him. He pushed himself harder. 10 meters. 5 meters. 3 meters. And then, Daniel crossed the finish line. He had won. The crowd cheered loudly. Daniel looked at the gold medal around his neck. But the medal was not the most important thing. The most important thing was everything he had learned before he won it. He learned that failure is not the end. He learned that being slow does not mean you cannot improve. And most importantly, he learned that sometimes the difference between success and failure is simply one more try. So, if you are learning English right now and you feel that it is difficult, remember Daniel. Maybe you do not understand every English word today. That is okay. Listen again tomorrow. Learn one new word. Then learn another. Make mistakes. Try again. And never be afraid of being imperfect. Because every time you listen, you are improving. Every time you speak, you are becoming more confident. And every time you try again, you are getting closer to your goal. Remember this simple sentence. I may not be good at it yet, but I will keep trying. Say it again. I may not be good at it yet, but I will keep trying. That is the spirit of Daniel. And that is the spirit of learning English. Thank you for listening to this story with Sarah English. If you enjoyed this story and want to improve your English by listening to more simple and inspiring stories, subscribe to Sarah English. And if this story gave you motivation, like this video and leave a comment telling us one thing you will never give up on. Maybe it is learning English. Maybe it is your dream. Maybe it is something you have been working on for a long time. Share it with us in the comments. Remember, your English does not have to be perfect today. You just have to keep going. Keep listening. Keep learning.
Keep trying.
And most importantly, never give up. See you again here at Sarah English with another story to help you learn English and believe in yourself.